you sure if I push this button and not that one, the science project's gonna work right this time?
I am Neek.
Wait, what?
Good morning, students. Welcome to school. Remember, the thought of the day is...
It was pity that stayed Bulbo's hand. Many that live deserve death, and some that die deserve life. Can you give it to them, Frodo?
All right, welcome to Ecology 101, the study of the nerd and geek in their natural habitat. I'm Gary.
I'm John.
I'm Ron.
All right, today we're... Wait, where's Rudy at? He's still not here. Thanks, Ron, for subbing in.
Yeah.
You do a good job. Yeah. Yes, we'll find him. He's devaporized too, but we'll bring him back around.
What's devaporized?
Did I say that?
I thought so.
Oh.
What did you think you said?
I don't know what I said. This says random thoughts, man. It's all good. But he's not here. He's
He's
the
at the
Snapshare
Lavender.
is good,
I think
so we
he's at
should
the
be back. Anybody's gone, right?
Is he at the Lavender Festival?
Maybe so. There you go.
I could just picture him tiptoeing through the Lavender Festival
can.
with a basket.
Nice.
Like this.
Right?
I'll have one of those and one of those.
and one of
Oh, I
those.
gotta have this.
Purple's my color.
Oh, man.
Oh my God. Stop.
All right.
I love Marvel.
There you go.
I wish they had a purple character in Marvel. It'd be like
Rudy,
lavender.
Rudy. Oh, man.
I wish Spider-Man wore lavender.
All right, here we go. Poor Rudy. He's gonna come back in this one.
He is. He's going to be mad.
He'll be mad.
But that
yes.
was Ron, Rudy. That wasn't me. I just want to point that out.
So, well, let's go with this, right? Sometimes you get the... we're going to talk today about... This episode is odd. It's got an odd title, but the Eyes of Sauron.
Spell it.
E-I-E-I. Not E-I-I.
E-I-E-I-O.
It's just I. Now, if Sauron, yes, and this scene actually, this is an odd scene, but remember, Lord of the Rings fan, when Sauron, the Eye, right? Mm-hmm. When the ring was destroyed,
Yes.
what happened to him?
He died.
And how did he die? Explain his death.
I don't remember.
You don't. What? Okay. What happened was the everything began to crumble around him.
Yes.
His tower began to fall.
No, the eye looking that way.
The eye was just freaking out because, like,
Yes.
what happened? I thought I won, right? Mm-hmm. And so it was this whole thing, and it just collapsed on him and destroyed, and he was no more. The enemy
His
of the free
essence was
people of the
gone.
world is gone.
I got a question. I watched that extra footage one, and that weird creature on the horse. I was like, Saruman!
Oh yes,
That they didn't show on the
You know who
normal.
that was?
What was that?
Oh, well, I think, and I don't know for sure, but I know in the book he was the voice of Sauron, and he didn't have physical form, but he was getting physical form. And I don't know if this thing was part of it, whatever. But the thing had a nasty mouth, and he didn't have an eye, so you kind of think like he was the incarnated in what he could become, something like that. So who knows what they were doing? They were doing all kinds of crazy weird stuff.
Who would have thought one so small would endure so much pain? And he did, Gandalf. He did.
Do you know anything about that one?
No, I don't.
Yeah, it's each of the
Because
extended
Sauron-
movie just 45
Sauron
minutes.
was like 10 feet tall.
Oh, he's
wasn't he?
huge. Yeah. And he, so he met his end twice, right? So, and connected that ring. So one of the things that we want to talk about is, we often.
There's cruelty and malice into the ring.
That's right, exactly. And it's stuck, right? The symbiote kind of thing too. But what happens? We're going to talk about how villains actually bring out the best in our heroes, which I think that there's a lot of characters that did that. And you think of an antagonist and a protagonist.
Well, I mean, come on. Let's go Lego Batman, right?
Give me that one. What you got?
Well, I mean,
Good example.
the Joker, like, once,
beat you.
yeah. Well, he needed Batman. He wanted him and Batman. Without Batman, he wasn't. Well, Batman wasn't Batman without the Joker, right?
Right.
That's
They
why the
needed each
Joker
other.
let all of them get caught, and now Batman doesn't have a job anymore, right? Gotham City's all cleaned up.
Right.
So
you need me.
Yes, exactly. He wanted that relationship. I don't do ships.
And if it wasn't for you, I never would have learned how connected I am with all these people. And you. So if you help me save Gotham, you'll help me save us.
You just said us?
Yeah, Batman. and the Joker. What do you say?
He had me at shut up.
What did he fight?
Batman. Yes, exactly.
Exactly.
So it's the whole, the yin and the yang.
The balance of
Yes. What was my other one on? Oh my gosh, the duality of life. The one that I wrote there. Yeah, I mean that's what it is. You have a good and evil, light and dark,
right.
positive and negative. However you want to look at it.
Or look
Hate,
at it.
hate and love. Yeah.
Right.
Which actually, ladies and gentlemen, for you children out there, do you think hate is the opposite of love?
Ooh.
It is not. You know what the opposite of love is? Indifference.
Really?
Yeah, well, think about it.
Think about it. Yeah, you don't
The
care.
time I got over a girlfriend, I could care less what was going on. I mean, not that I hated her. I'm just like, well, you're another person to me. I don't care what
Dead
you do in
feelings
life. Yes,
compared to
exactly.
living feelings.
When I hate her, I still have some compassion for her.
Ooh.
Usually hate with me follows numbness.
Yeah. Oh,
That's
hate.
Well, that's what he's talking about. You have no emotion, right?
Yes. But I mean, my hate goes away, and now I'm just numb towards them. They're
Yeah.
like, I mean, I don't want anything bad to
Stages of
happen to
death.
them. It's like when you hate them,
it's
you're like,
like-
I don't want you to have a good relationship. I don't. Once you no longer love somebody, you're like, whatever, have a good life. I don't care.
Yeah.
It doesn't bug me anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
You have to go through that emotional breaking.
That
right?
breaking. Mhm.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think really in the whole thing, there's so many good stories of villains that have pushed our characters, have moved them. Because you think about it, if there isn't a crisis, you don't have a story.
Well, you always got to have that.
Yeah.
Right? We write, so you know that. You got to have that.
Yeah. Heroes can have it inside themselves too, right? And sometimes it takes a.
Well, we talk about that in writing. Like sometimes it's an internal struggle, and sometimes it's an external struggle.
But in Sauron, Sauron, his whole thing was, he became obsessed with that ring and controlling everybody, right? Mm-hmm. And so,
which most dictators, that's what they want to do, right?
Exactly. And so he had to control the world, and most people, of course, when the ring became discovered, it basically fed to everybody's like, you want my power, that kind of thing too. And the least likely person that got a hold of it, Frodo and Bilbo, right? Mm-hmm. They think about everyone who was affected by the ring. They all changed. They all grew. Frodo was a very homebody. So was Bilbo. Pushed them out of their comfort zone. They became more than they would have been, right?
Yep.
And in the book, they didn't go into in the movie. In the book, they actually inspired Hobbiton, the hobbits, too, because there was actually a war in Hobbiton.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the orcs had taken over Hobbiton, and so when they came back, they had to. Even after Sauron was gone,
That's
they
where
had
Saruman actually died too.
Is it?
Yeah, in because they killed him. Yeah, shot with an arrow.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, exactly. So they instilled the.
Well, they all came back as these little fighters, right?
Yeah.
They learned how to fight, and they came back and they had to rid their village of the orcs,
and it changed their whole society too.
Yes,
a lot of people were not sitting just eating and drinking,
which is what life is about.
Right. So. There you go. So it can bring out the best. You think of any of the characters in it, like.
But isn't that what we need in life? Is growth?
Yeah,
I
and
mean,
it comes
I
in lots
think.
of different ways. Mm-hmm. Sure. Yeah, and the villain necessarily, you said too, a villain necessarily doesn't have to be full-on bad guy. It could be someone, what is it that song is?
There you go.
There ain't no good guys. There ain't
Sing
no
it,
bad
Ron.
guys.
Sing it.
What?
Sing that song.
No,
there ain't
I
no
just
good
meant-
guys. There ain't no bad
It's
guys.
you and me, and we just don't agree.
That's right.
So let's leave it alone, 'cause we can't see eye to eye. There ain't no good guy, there ain't no bad guy. There's only you and me, and we just disagree.
He's like, what song are you talking
Yeah,
about?
I zoned out for a minute.
You guys suck.
I thought Gary's gonna go clowns to the left of me, jokers to the right. Here I am,
Stuck in the middle with
You. Great.
because Gary's stuck in the middle.
Oh, yeah.
Reservoir Dogs. Uh-huh.
There you go. There's life.
You ever see that movie? Reservoir Dogs?
I've heard about it.
It's really good.
Yeah. Now in the book, well, I guess Aragorn was another character in that. He was reluctant.
Yes, he did not want to take the mantle of king.
He
essentially.
saw what his ancestor did to screw it up. He's the one that chopped off the ring, took the power, screwed everything
Well,
else.
he was corrupted by power, and you see that so often, even in our own political world.
All kinds of stuff. Right. Power can go, was it power? We've done that. Can corrupt you,
Well, that's what Marx said. Power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely.
Yeah.
So,
And how we handle that, how we handle that whole thing too. And it pushed him out of his comfort zone. Aragorn became that king that he knew he should have been, but without all the, he had to overcome his fears.
Yes, overcome his fears of being like his ancestor.
Yeah, because you make your choices. So, and he pushed away the ring too, and he could have taken it. So,
at least in the movie, I don't remember about in the books if he did that or not. Because I don't think Frodo ever offered him the ring like we saw in
the book. What happened was Frodo had left and no one knew, so they changed it where Aragorn did know. So he left and they figured out what happened to him.
Yeah,
so,
that he just took off.
They just took off. Yeah. So, but he still had to have his sword reforged. Actually, I think he had the sword with him.
He always carried the sword, yes.
Yeah.
It was the broken sword, and he had the pieces in his scabbard.
So he had closer to actually
yes,
owning that.
It was, and like on the movie, it was in the elven realm. But with him, he always carried it, because in the cartoon, you see he fights with a half-broken sword. Yeah.
Right. But it was still a pretty awesome sword.
Man who can wield the power of this sword can summon to him an army more deadly than any that walks this earth. Put aside the ranger. Become who you are born to be.
But, again, everyone in that, Gandalf, everybody changed because they had to deal with evil. And, even look at Sauron. He and Gandalf were the two choices you could make, right? Sauron said, no, I'm going to fight evil. I'm going to give into it. Gandalf, he took a lot of abuse, but he became the White, because...
Eventually, yes.
Yeah.
But Saruman was the White.
Right. And then he knocked it. But you could always tell, even when they did of course, I don't know if it goes with the book or not, but Sauron always had that kind of, something wasn't off about him. He wasn't really the good guy.
The hour grows late, and Gandalf the Grey rides to Isengard, seeking my counsel. For that is why you have come, is it not? My old friend.
Saruman.
I guess evil also brings out
But isn't that true about everybody, right?
Yeah.
Right? We all have a little... evil in us, I guess.
We got our battles. That's in nature, man. So, and sometimes, bad guys can, they can actually bring out things that need a change in us too. I'll tell you, one character was in Spider-Man 3, the Tobey Maguire, right?
Yeah.
He had a lot of baggage with regret for it. He should have helped his uncle out. All these things happened, and a lot of anger. And then you come to find out in the story that the Sandman didn't... How did that work out? It was an accident. Total accident that he killed his uncle. And he felt horrible about it too. And when it came out at the end, and there's a confrontation between Spider-Man and Sandman, and I guess he lost Harry, right, at the end of the movie. So he was already kind of a mess. But Sandman said, I didn't know it was an accident that I killed your uncle, and I'm sorry. He goes, I don't expect...
How did Sandman kill his uncle? I don't remember that.
Okay, so in the original one, there was the guy that the uncle had the guy came to take his car, and the uncle said no, and he how did they do it? I have to watch.
No, so he was. Remember, he'd gotten those new powers, and he was fighting in the ring.
He struggled with it when he pulled a gun, right? And his dad pulled a gun. His uncle pulled a gun away, and
he told him not to shoot. Yeah, so there's some struggle in there. And
or the two guys were struggling. It was a struggle.
Yeah, the second guy is the guy I think what happened was, no, good, now you're going to catch him on this one. But,
no, they didn't have it. It was always one guy. Well, because remember, he let him get away. He stole the money, and he took off running. And they're like, stop him. He's like, I'm not going to stop him. You didn't give me any money for fighting.
When he left and got the car with Uncle Ben, the Sandman somehow was his partner in that. That's how they put it.
They never showed that.
They did show that in the third movie.
Yeah, but they never showed it in the first movie. So they just added Sand. What I'm saying is they just contrived all that.
They did. But the fact that
it was hardly an inconvenience for that. What was that pitch meeting thing?
Right.
Did you ever see those? Yeah, they kind of it's two same guys, and they pitch the meeting, and they go, "Well, isn't that going to affect the timeline?" No, hardly an inconvenience. They just breeze past everything.
Like
why'd they do that?
But I think the moment, it's almost like we talked about catching a scene in there. The scene where he said, "I don't expect you to forgive me."
I'm not asking you to forgive me. I just want you to understand.
I've done terrible things too.
There's a moment for his character to Spider-Man to show forgiveness, which is very powerful to someone who didn't deserve it.
But really, what's forgiveness about?
What's forgiveness about it? Is that you...
Is it really to forgive the other person? No.
What do you
So
think
that
it is?
you can move beyond
True,
as a
too.
human being.
Yeah.
I think
they
it's really
both
for
had to.
for yourself, so that you don't hold on to that grudge, because that's what eats you up inside.
You're just talking about that too.
That's what eats you up inside.
Yeah, exactly. Or
Right.
you do it because you don't have to keep looking over your shoulder all the time.
Well, that could be true too.
Well, yeah, I bet, and both of them could move forward. Mm-hmm. Both people can move forward. So that's it
But
too.
forgiveness, I found, is really about yourself and being able to move forward yourself.
Yeah, because those people probably forgot about it.
Yeah. Well, even if they have, you can let it. You can finally let it go.
Let it go.
And sometimes, the people that ask forgiveness, they need that. But really, I think it's about you being able to move forward in life.
Sure. Growth. That's
Yes.
what you get
Again,
to.
growth.
Yeah. Well, and then
Like the
let's
thing on your face, Gary.
called my nose. I hope. So we just got back to Thanos.
Thanos. He's a great villain because he's not totally a villain. You know
No.
what I mean? There's a rational purpose to what he's doing. I mean,
Yeah.
what he's doing is really trying to make the world a better place. It's but when you think about it, it's like, well, what if I'm or the people I love are that 50% that has to die, right?
We are the world.
Yes.
Half you have to die. Say it, Stevie.
So think about this is it really pushed the characters, right? The ones that were left, they had to make some pretty tough decisions in their life, and they grew too, And we went back to Thor, right? And his dealing with all his emotional stuff. It's like all these things pushed them in a direction for them all to grow, right? So, Thor had to work through his emotional stuff. Captain America got to get pushed into a whole nother level of superhero,
Did he?
Well, I think the fact that he and Thor had this animosity, right? Because, Thor was dealing with, he had the tough image, I can hold this together or whatever, and no, I don't want it. They had this friendly, like, oh, you grow your beard like mine. They had this whole little just the guy.
I don't think it was. I mean, I always thought like
just
Tony and Cap
competition.
always had a animosity.
They did.
They were friends, but there was an animosity always there.
It's some frenemy stuff going on.
I think it's sort of like Star-Lord and. There's that competition more, I think, than animosity.
It's competition.
Yeah, but then again, when Thor, when he grabbed the Captain America grabbed the thing and he goes, "I knew it."
Yeah.
He had to get over that. He had to get over the competition. Like, you know what?
So
I
he
can
knew,
support somebody else, and it's okay. I'm not less than myself.
Yeah, but you get the little one.
But so technically, Captain
gets that a little bit.
So Captain Marvel, so he could have lifted that if he wanted to, but he didn't.
You mean Captain America?
There's a
America,
whole,
yeah,
there's
Captain
a whole
America.
thing behind that too.
Yeah.
There's a whole thing behind that too. Was he
Well,
ready? Was he not? Who
Yes, or did Captain just not think he was worthy? I mean, what is it a mental thing? Who knows? Because
Maybe.
the only people who can lift Meow Meow, Mjolnir,
Yeah.
are the people who are worthy to lift it.
Yeah.
Yeah, meow.
Which he definitely is.
Yeah.
Is that like the state Super Trooper? Mm-hmm.
Meow Meow.
Did you ever see Super Trooper?
No.
Oh, it's a comedy, and the guys will go, "Hey, let's do the meow meow thing," and they go, "So how you doing, meow? We're gonna give you, your tail lights out, meow." And they go, "Did you just say meow? No, we didn't say meow, meow." And they go, and so the next on the next one on number 2, it's Gaffigan pulls up and he goes, "Hey, it's you guys. You guys pulled a meow thing on me." He goes, "No, we didn't." "Yes, we did. You guys did meow." And he goes, "No, we did. Why don't you come out and show us?" And so Jed Gaffigan comes and goes, "Hey guys, he did the meow thing." He goes, "Oh yeah, we remember you." So, but it was just a funny, it's a funny. Even Casey liked Super Trooper, and I thought she thought it was stupid. Yeah.
Well,
pretty
yeah,
funny.
it is. Or you've got Jim Gaffigan.
It's good, stupid.
Exactly.
Or Subway made with a.
so silly. He's a crack up.
Oh my gosh.
Your wife really dates you? Your wife really likes you? Yes, she does.
Are you talking about Subway? How their bread's cooked in a dirty dishwasher?
He's funny.
But anyway, so yeah, they do characters do grow.
Yeah, you said do. Uh-huh. Hot pocket. Go ahead, Gert.
Someone tells you this is going to be reoccurring. Anyways, and the meow.
Do you want to talk about this next thing that you have on here on the line here?
No.
Okay, never mind.
Okay, so anyways,
Oh, that's on the top, huh? We're not even talking
Children
about
of
that.
Thanos. Oh yeah,
that's so down. We're down here, huh?
Yeah.
No, we don't want to talk about that.
Okay, anyways,
but they did have growth too, didn't they? Because what's her name became the Children of Thanos.
Are you talking about Gamora?
Yeah, Gamora
Oh,
and
yeah.
what's her name? Nebula.
Oh yeah, they were at each other all the time. The dad loved it, you know, that they were fighting.
I win. I bested you in combat.
No, I saved your life.
Well, you were stupid enough to let me live.
You let me live.
I don't need you always trying to beat me.
I'm not the one that just flew across the universe just because I wanted to win.
Do not tell me what I want.
I don't need to tell you what you want. It's obvious.
You were the one who wanted to win, and I just wanted a sister.
They totally became
Sisters.
They became sisters. The very thing that they both wanted. They wouldn't admit to it. But it's interesting though that Gamora. It took put it this way, it took Nebula a little longer because Gamora she was already ready for it, and she was ready to accept her as a sister. And that's why I think she was ready to change when they said, "Hey, we got to stop Thanos." She's like, "All right," like she was prepared for it. And Nebula was pretty much brainwashed.
Yeah, well, that's how it'd been.
Because she was mad at both of them.
Oh, sure.
She was siding with Dad and her.
You turned me into this. Yeah.
Until she came to realize that Thanos just, treated her
Worked
like.
her.
Would that be like when you side with the lesser evil or something? I don't know.
Well, no, because I don't think Gamora was evil per se. I think that was he liked to keep that animosity between the two.
yeah.
Well,
No,
Thanos,
I mean-
Yeah. What's
What
a
do you
control
mean?
issue?
Well, because it's like Nebula, she was upset at Gamora and her dad, but she took Gamora's sides because he was the worst of the two. So she
eventually, but then she
Yeah.
realized that Gamora did love her as a sister.
yeah.
So
And they had to go through a lot of stuff to get there too. So yeah, there's your frenemy thing going on too, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Sure.
Kind of. I don't know. But no, and then she became a great. I love that.
What's
Tony,
a frenemy?
Kind of like that.
I think it's a new term from Nemesis.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is.
No,
Kind
it's
of.
the
a little more.
I think it's more the enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Oh,
yeah, you know what I
that whole
mean?
thing, right?
What about like the relationship between what's the guy in the Guardians of the Galaxy that's blue, and Star-Lord?
Oh, you're talking about
Because at one time you thought, oh, this guy's a bad dude in real life, but
you're talking about his father.
He may have been your father, boy, but he wasn't your daddy.
The blue guy was Mary Poppins.
Yeah. I'm Mary Poppins, y'all!
Yontu.
Yeah, Yontu.
Yeah, hey, you know what? There's a connection between Star Wars and Disney with the Mary Poppinses.
Yes, there you go.
Nice. I'm Mary Poppins, y'all. Yeah, and again, yeah, it's all in getting some information. So sometimes even with you find out that the bad guy really was not the bad guy. Right? It might be someone else was the bad guy too.
Well, you
It's
see that,
information
don't you
sometimes.
see that in which was not a good movie. It was the worst of all the Marvel movies, but Captain Marvel. She's looking at those guys, and they look, and it was sort of like I remember it being on was it on the Thundercats, the old cartoon Thundercats?
Thunder,
Thundercats.
Oh, yes, I remember them, yes. There's Meowbat.
Snarfer. Oh, that's right.
I think he was.
Was that the one with
I
like
think
Panthera?
Here
I
it
think
comes.
Snarf was smoking
Panthera?
pot. Yeah.
Was that Panthera 2 on that one? Or was that
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, you're talking about Tigra, Chitara, Wily Cat, and Panthro.
Wow.
Panthro, he was the karate guy. Oh
my
Yeah, and he could
gosh.
build stuff. And then Tiger was really super smart. He had the whip. And then Chitara was super fast. She had the bow stick.
Wasn't there another one like that? There was something similar to that somebody tried to do?
Probably. They redid it, and it didn't take off. It wasn't really good. But what was my point?
I don't know. You're talking about.
But so in an episode of Thundercats, there was these ugly. So the whole message
Captain
to
Marvel.
kids.
Captain Marvel.
Yeah, I know, but I'm going to Thundercats
Okay,
with Captain
there's a connection.
Marvel.
Gotcha.
Yes, there's a connection. Okay, this isn't just dribble. Like Gary Drip, can you keep? Okay, so thank you for the sound effects. There we go.
There it is.
So that wasn't even like put in. That was Daron really doing that.
real sound.
So no, in the show, and I remember as a kid going, "Oh, they're just trying to tell us a message." Which there was like these people that were sort of ugly on the outside, but they were really good. And Lino was fighting with them until he figured out that the pretty people were actually the evil people. And you saw that in Marvel, right? Because I mean, the people who came down that they thought were, with an ugly looking group of people.
Yes,
yeah, I forget what they were called, but they were really the good ones. And Watson, what's his name?
Watson
From Sherlock Holmes.
Oh yeah,
actor.
that's right. Oh yeah.
They were really the bad guys.
It's Riley something. Riley.
No, it's not Riley.
Oh well, we're in trouble because Rudy's usually got this stuff right there too.
Yeah. What's his name? What's the actor's name?
Wait, you're talking
Jude Law.
Jude Law. Oh yeah.
Oh, that one. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I mean, a lot of times we look at the exterior and we automatically have an assumption about them, and they may not necessarily be the bad guy.
Right.
Yeah,
No. Exactly. Yeah. Those are the guys, the shapeshifters. They
like
were,
Cable.
Yeah. Cable ended up being a more complicated character, just like Thanos.
Yeah. His evil was just on one person.
Yeah, but it wasn't. I mean, it wasn't evil per se because Deadpool was able to save the kid, and everything worked out okay. You know.
Yeah.
So at that point, he's like, "Well, I'm not going to kill the kid because the kid wouldn't like. It brought my family back because we changed him." Yeah. So
right, good. So bad guys can.
Well, what you think are the bad guys sometimes aren't always the bad guys, right? Or they do bad things for a good reason.
You're welcome, Canada.
Thanos, I think if someone had his same type of intellect, could have changed him. I mean, that's what I think, because he could have not done that. You know, if he had one of his peers that he respected talk him out of it, would he be just one conversation away from not doing that?
No, because he wanted to impress Death. He was in love.
Okay,
with
so
Death.
what if it was Death that said don't do it?
Well, and at the end, I think
some didn't change.
I think Death did want him to do it at some point. You know, but it was already. I think it was already too late. But here's the reality. I mean, he was doing it. Tony Stark had to die in order to save everybody else, right? So it's kind of that idea. But what if Tony Stark is the person in your life? Do you want him to die? No. So it's that kind of idea. His idea was like, well, if I wipe out half of society, half of the universe, then the other half can thrive.
Yeah.
So they'll have it great.
Right.
They can go back in time and stop everything.
But what's interesting is a lot of people dealt with issues like Bruce Banner and Hulk. You know, that whole thing is that catalyst that brought, because they had a very disjointed relationship of hate, right? And so anyways, and then it forced them into having a full relationship.
Come on, Hulk. What are you doing to me? Come out. Come out. Come out.
And that may not have happened if he get clocked by Thanos. So that whole thing too is that's probably part of it is what pushes us in the direction that we're supposed to go. And that's where a lot of...
Well, and how do we know we get pushed in the right direction?
Yeah, we hope so.
I mean, look at Hitler. He got pushed in a certain direction, right?
Right.
And it was horrible for the world.
Yeah, and if he would have got redirected in something else.
Well, who knows,
right?
Isn't that what your book is about?
I did actually do that one. And it was funny you mentioned that because I went through a beta read with my book, and one of the things I went back through with that issue of sitting down and dealing with the emotional things that people go through, and if someone would have sat down and mentored one of these people that did if you picked and chose who you did, how would history turn out different? Very, very true. Yep. Mm-hmm. And but I think too, what you take away from this is, wow, so what evil or what bad things are pushing me, and how do I respond to it? You think about that too, and because you can kick and complain and cry, or you could say, well, you know what? I wonder if this is for my growth too.
Yeah. What can I learn from this?
Yeah.
I tell the kids at school that all the time.
Yeah.
We go through bad things, but without those valleys, how do you ever learn to understand what a peak feels like?
Right. Exactly.
Without pain, there's no pleasure.
Right. Mm-hmm. And I'll tell you here's an interesting thing. I'm going to pull in Star Trek Discovery, so throw some Star Trek in her. One of the things is...
Nanu.
Yeah. That's more for more. Nice try. Turn it that way.
Sorry.
Anyways, no, a lot of those characters in it. I was just talking about, they have a Captain Pike, who's one of the original, he came before Captain Kirk.
Nobody is as cool as Captain Kirk.
No, he isn't. He's very different Kirk in that he's a rule follower. Black and white, this is the way it is. Follow orders.
Oh my God.
And so he got a real shaking in his whole perception. It challenges faith, all kinds of things, and he began to see how to function in a gray world, and how to make decisions and he got pushed because of some characters that
But that's the world. The world is gray.
Yeah, and sometimes you live that. It's like you got to apply what you learn out in the real world.
Most people never get a chance to learn what's in their own hearts. If we figure it out, it's often not what we expected, or even what we would have chosen for ourselves. I am very grateful, Commander, to have been here to watch you discover your heart.
Well, I mean, very few things are black and white, if anything.
No, right.
So,
and seeing something from, and then learn how to see something from different perspectives.
yes.
Yeah.
Because then that changes the color.
That's Discovery is so good how they mesh both the original together in Pike and how they really show what a great captain he was, and then he saw his fate.
Still not as good.
He saw his future.
Kirk.
This is different. This is different.
But yeah, no, I mean, it's like Kirk was looking at the old files of Pike, and didn't he not learn things from his adventures or things and stuff? And
Yeah, well, a lot happened too.
Yeah,
well, Spock did too. So
he goes, okay, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that.
And that's the old theory talk about you learn from someone else's mistakes, right? That's all.
Yeah, well, I always told my son, I could tell you what not to do.
Mm-hmm.
But you're not going to listen, are you?
My dad did.
That's all we
I
could do.
listened to my dad. He
Good
told
for
me,
you.
He told me things not to do and not to do, and thank God I listened.
Yeah, I learned not to do things from watching Gary get his butt spanked.
That's good.
Exactly. Right? And
I took mental notes when I heard the smacking. Okay, don't.
That's I shouldn't say this. So that's another good example. Learn from people around you who are not making the best choices, and that's the best example. We always say we should make the bumper sticker.
When the leather hits the bone.
Oh my gosh. Well, it can be a fly swatter. It can be Hot Wheel tracks. It can be whatever is handy, right?
A chancla.
The handy.
Or a wooden spoon breaking over your back. I remember that day.
Yes.
I just got the hand.
Because
belt.
I remember watching that and said, I ain't doing that one. It's like, thanks. Yeah, so that's it, man. That's the lesson to learn from people around us. So I tell you, any other we can pick from any other characters that you can think of that that really pushed our heroes. There's quite a few out there.
I'm sure there's tons and tons, but I think the moral of the story is that, the villains push our heroes to be hopefully better heroes, right?
Dr. Evil.
Well done, Mr. Powers. We're not so different, you and I.
Yeah, baby.
He was really Dougie.
Yeah, baby, yeah.
And he got a relationship. I think it just popped in our last episode.
That's what I was.
I'm a Dougie. Yeah, and the thing about it is sometimes the bad guy just needs some information. Maybe he has a missing piece. He's like, well, I should have been a jerk.
Okay, what was that cartoon that Megamind?
Oh, yeah.
Remember that? That was a good example.
You ever saw that one?
No.
He ends up becoming
Will Ferrell was the bad guy, the alien, and the superhero.
Oh, I don't.
You never seen
Brad
that?
Pitt was the superhero.
No.
Yeah.
Why are you saying no?
Because I never saw it.
Oh,
it's really good actually.
Is it?
Yeah, and I don't really. Yeah. It's really
so
good.
so tell us what the bad guy learned about that.
Well, what happened was they were two people sent to the planet Earth. One went to a home of good people. The other one actually went to the prison thing.
Oh,
and
okay.
he ended up becoming the villain, and the other guy became. But the guy they'd always fight and everything. But
so does that get back to I guess the question of nature versus nurture?
well, he ended up becoming
so.
he ended up realizing things and ended up becoming a good guy. But it's just the thing that he grew up in this environment and that's all he knew.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
And the
Nature
good
versus
guy-
nurture.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
The good guy in that learns about himself too. You know.
Which is crazy. Like my book, I talk about all these. I have a whole chapter that says gray assy, and then I talk about nature versus nurture, and which is crazy for a fantasy orc book. I don't know if it's crazy, but I try to bring moral issues into the book, so it's not just hack and slash and kill people, but those same.
And let's stop and think about what we just learned, right?
What same themes that we're talking about now that you can see here,
And it's character stuff, and it's very important. Just what life does to you.
Yes.
Yeah. What is it they say? The same heat that melts the wax can harden clay. Mm-hmm. What's the outcome of your heart? So that's important to look at too. So
yeah, it's very, 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 very deep and personal when you go do that. I mean, learning from all this stuff and going to work the first time in your life and having to deal with all these people just on you because you don't know what you're doing, and you have to develop your personality. Just develop that. You know what I mean? You become your skin has to become thick.
Yeah. You have thick skin and have a hard heart.
Mm-hmm. But see, then is there that where the villain turns, so these guys are picking on me, and I was talking, and we have to do this thing for kids with bullying at school, and I think a lot of bullies come from insecurity, and maybe they were bullied themselves. So now I'm just going to take that power and unleash it on somebody else because I'm bigger, stronger, or whatever.
Cycle keeps happening.
Yeah. Like the first time I went to work for Lucky Supermarket, I was just a young kid, and I was in there trying to open a box with a razor, and one of the guys, he's kind of an ass. He was just laughing at me as the other guy, he comes down and goes, "Hey, Ron, let me show you how to do that." And I look over at, I won't say names, I will look over at him and I go, "See, that wasn't so hard, was it?" And ever since then, he just had daggers for me.
Yeah.
And we actually went out in the parking lot one time, we were going to duke it out, and nothing ever happened.
Why?
But because just
built up.
I would lose my job because I was still on
probation.
And so years later, as I got bigger, because I was a skinny kid then, and got bigger, I ran into him and he was all, "Oh, I don't remember you," and this and that, and stuff. So there was kind of a kind of like a redeeming value to that. What would you call that?
Now you have the power.
Yeah. And he was just kind of like, "Oh, it's good to see you, Ron."
Oh, so you can work out issue without propagating it.
But see, that's where you didn't become the villain, right?
Yeah, so that was an interesting thing. And then I went into another store and I developed and I got better and I ended up doing stuff and carried the keys, and it was a great job, and I got a lot of respect when I left, and it was great. But at that beginning, they just
ruthless.
Oh yeah, yeah. Like my first 2 years or my first 6 months of carrying the keys, these older guys on night crew were all key carriers at one time. Oh, they gave me hell. Oh my gosh, they just they hazed me bad.
So you either learn to roll with that and grow and become better, or you fall into yourself, I want to say, and you become you quit or whatever, right?
Make that choice.
Oh, it'd be like if there was a thing of water on the floor that got left there, and they would go, one of the managers goes, "Hey, that water was left there from you last night. Why didn't you pick that up?" Say, "Hey, you know what? You're right, I left it there. But you know what's even worse than that is the fact that you saw it and you left it there all day."
Yeah.
Okay, pick it up, put it in the back room, and reprimand me for it. But the fact that you left it there all day after you noticed I left it just to get at me, you're the wrong on this one. And he looked at me and goes, "You're right."
Oh, well, that's good.
Yeah.
He goes, "You're right." And then after that, the guy never bothered me again.
Wow. Right? Yeah. And you know what? You're not going to... circumstances can land on you, but it's how you face them, and you could be a jerk, or you could say, "You know what, this is a better way to do it. This is how I would like it done," right? Someone told me this way too. So you learn. I know I do. So, well, good stuff, man. And I too, and as we kind of tie things up, I think about when you think of a villain or an issue or a problem like that too, is that you're going to always have them. We're always going to have them. You're always going to face them. And the thing about it is, you decide, how am I going to deal with them?
How am I going to deal with it as the hero, right?
Right. How does the hero do it? And do they have to be perfect? Nope.
Yeah.
And you're going to make mistakes? Sure. But you think about that is you think of what does that verse say about love your enemies, you treat them, all these things to them, because you never know if you can. It helps you, like you said, and it might plant some seeds in them.
I think that's what it's about. It's more about helping you than it is.
And then you have the tools. If you see this person doing the same thing as the last time you had to do it, you have the tools to know how to handle it.
Sure. It's like it's like you turn the course of a river. Because if your life keeps happening, you're like, well, you know what? I want to, for my kids, everybody follows me. It's like, I want to try to do the right thing in this situation. So by seeing what's wrong, you try to do what's right. So there you go. I think it's good stuff. So if you have a villain that you're dealing with out there, you know what? Don't take their route. Learn what not to do. So
yeah, and grow from it.
Yeah.
Become a better person in spite of that person, right?
Yeah.
Does that include neighbors that are opportunists?
Sure. All kinds of people. Yep. You know what? And there's a lot of good tools. Well, we know where to go for information. So, but it's a good place to our world is full of. Oh, we could get deep on this one, but anyways,
I know it could get.
You could,
really deep.
we can get real deep. But the thing is, I know dealing with people is what you're gonna have to do. We don't live in a bubble. So the fact is, how you deal with all kinds of people really changes your character, and you hope it changes theirs. That's what you.
Yeah, and sometimes you look at somebody else as the villain, but sometimes you might be the villain, right?
Yeah, exactly. Right.
You got to stop and look at yourself as well and say, hey,
right.
What feedback am I getting and what am I doing wrong, maybe,
Right.
So that I'm not the bad guy.
No, right, exactly, yeah.
If you don't want to be the villain.
What was that they said about, what they say to Batman? There was the line they say, you'll either live long enough to be, live long to be the hero, or if you live too long, you become the bad guy. How's that line go? Something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So the thing is,
you
die a hero or live long enough to be the bad guy or something like that. Hopefully it doesn't happen.
Yeah, and you just don't know. I mean, Frank Castle, what did he say to Daredevil? Like,
You're one bad day away from being me, Red.
Oh, yeah.
And he is. Daredevil wasn't. I mean, he wouldn't cross that line in killing somebody like Castle, but he almost in the Netflix series almost killed Kingpin and crossed that line. Thank God he didn't. So
gotcha.
He would have changed as a person.
So everybody's one decision away from
you
being
could
that
be,
person.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just don't know.
Right. At least in someone else's eyes too, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Even if it's not, globally you really become evil, but maybe in somebody else's eyes now you've turned into the nemesis, the evil person, whatever, the villain.
And no man is an island unto ourselves. We're all connected. So what we do affects other people. So there you go.
Yep.
So I hope that you can make those good decisions when villains run your way. So, alrighty. Well, that's good stuff, man. Well, thanks for another good episode, and I hope that...
Thank you, Sauron, for making those little hobbits all tough.
We better stop before we hit the magma.
Magma.
Right.
Give me a bone. Just want some sharks with some frickin' lasers on them.
I'm still Gary.
Still John.
And I'm still Ron.
And class is dismissed.
But if he should side with the enemy, a dragon could be used to terrible effect. What enemy?
Gandalf, the enemy is defeated. Sauron is vanquished. He can never regain his full strength.
Gandalf, for 400 years we have lived in peace, a hard-won, watchful peace.
Are we at peace?
Thanks for listening to Geekology 101, the study of the nerd and geek in their natural habitat. If you like what you hear, hit that subscribe button and stay up to date with all that's new in the fandom universe. You can find Geekology 101 on Spotify, YouTube, Podbean, and wherever you listen to podcasts. We'd love to hear from our fans, and your input helps make this show possible. Find us on Facebook and Instagram at Goddaman Geeks, or you can contact us at Geekology101class@gmail.com. We know we have a lot of fandom choices out there, so thanks for letting us invade your fandom universe. Because we are still the knights who say, Neek, 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 neek.